Hello, this is my review of the Titan Merchandise Star Trek Maxi bust of Mr. Spock. This was originally due out in 2012, I believe. That's when I had it pre-ordered. And it's been delayed and delayed, and to the point where Titan actually had other busts in the line that they had hoped to release, including McCoy, Scotty, Uhura, and Sulu. So Chekhov was the only one of the original crew that wasn't already mocked up in production, and they've shown samples of these. And unfortunately, due to poor sales or something, they're not going to be released. I spoke to someone at Titan, and they said that if the Spock bust did really well, they might be able to release the McCoy, which would be the next in the series. I'm not holding my breath, and as it is, we've got a nice bust, and that's that. So this is the second in the original series. The first one was Kirk, and I'll show you him in a little bit. But let's just talk about some of the details here. We've got pretty good likeness, slightly pinched maybe from this angle, doesn't look great, but when you do that, I mean, that's really, especially from below, that is Nimoy. We've got his, bowl cut, Mo from the Three Stooges, but it's nicely glossed, which reflects how shiny it always was. We even got the part back here coming from the very top of his head. The ears, of course, iconic. As far as his uniform, we've got the ribbed collar, got the slightly sparkly fabric, got the correct rank braids, got this amazingly detailed tricorder, including the way Nimoy always held it, which didn't actually make sense given that this is the screen he's supposed to be looking into. But, we can assume that Spock was so good at his job that he could hear by the pitch of the tricorder what he was supposed to be detecting. We have the correct emblem on him there, and we have a phaser on his hip, which is again very detailed and well painted. So just really nice bust. This strap here is resin and possibly could be broken. I can see that being an issue. We'll talk about the packaging in a little bit. But as far as height, it's 8 inches from the base to the top and about 6 here. Slightly smaller than the Gentle Giant scale, but roughly comparable. Gentle Giant doing Star Wars and The Walking Dead and others. But more or less comparable in scale. And well, let's look at him next to Kirk here. So here's the Kirk bust, which was the first in the series. We see that Spock is slightly taller. Kirk is also sort of hunched over in an action pose, but they look really well. They look good together, doing kind of a back-to-back Kirk and Spock iconic pose. This base on Kirk shows his command emblem because that's what he's wearing. I sort of thought this would show the science emblem, but maybe they just decided that this is the Star Trek symbol with a star in the middle rather than that being the correct one. So here we have my uniform tribute to the original series, and there's the Kirk one and the Spock one. But you can see, so this fabric is sort of sparkly as well, and I think that's what they were trying to replicate with the kind of sparkle dapple paint on here. It works really well, I think. One other thing you might notice is if you look at the hue of Kirk's skin. Turn this yellow light off here, make it, you can see it a little better. Yeah, so look how Kirk is sort of flesh colored, and then compare the Spock flesh color to that, and he's very olive skinned, and this does reflect what was probably the production color of Nimoy's skin. It's not as evident in most of the televised appearances, just because the HD it wasn't HD as it was televised, and you didn't pick it up on the old tube TVs. When I watched the Blu-rays of the remastered Trek, you can see that Nimoy clearly has a different skin tone, and there you can see it here again. Maybe part of that might seem to you to be the background messing, but there's a white background. It's not just the green wall. It's definitely an olive-colored skin tone. So that's a nice touch. It may be slightly overdone. especially when you compare them side by side. But you know, he is an alien. He's half blood, and as Dr. McCoy always reminded us, his blood is green, so it makes sense that he would have a different skin tone. But nice pair together. Here's what the box looks like. It's a fairly substantial box, probably 12 inches tall and 12 inches deep on the side. Pretty standard graphics, really. It's got that gold Starfleet arrowhead, or Enterprise arrowhead, with the sort of inset arrowheads, which looks again like the new movies. He comes packaged in, he comes packaged in this, which is, you know, pretty standard, sturdy packaging. It's not a window box or anything like that. There's no edition size on here like Gentle Giant does, but I would guess it's a pretty small one given how long it took them to get out. Price, he's about $80 new. I don't think I've seen him going for much less than that, Kirk anyway. So if you want him, pick him up. I think he's worth it. The Gentle Giant busts for Star Wars are at about the same price range, and I honestly think that the likeness on these guys is just really great, and the poses work really well together for a dynamic Kirk and Spock pair. I'm going to take some photos and include them so you can see some more details, and I'll probably include some online photos of the other busts that were proposed in the series but which are sadly probably not going to be released. If you like this review, you can subscribe. I do other reviews of Star Trek and Star Wars merchandise, as well as other videos. So go ahead and subscribe and see new videos when I post them. Thanks for looking.